I love
A
it.
Black South Carolina teen recently settled a lawsuit with her school district for an alleged physical assault. So she was allegedly assaulted by a teacher because she did not recite the Pledge of Allegiance. According to the lawsuit, then 15-year-old freshman Marissa Barnwell, an honor roll student at River Bluff High School, was walking to class, on November 29th, 2022, when the pledge began playing over the school's intercom. Now, South Carolina law requires the schools to play the pledge, but you don't have to participate. The law says you don't have to participate if you don't want to. You can't be penalized for failing to participate, but it is there. So if you want to, I guess. But apparently, this teacher was like, "No, you will participate, even though you're not in class. You are walking to class. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna make you participate."
We need a more robust civics education program in this country for teachers, for adults to understand the ramifications of their actions related to Congress shall make no law about the establishment of religion or abridging the freedom of speech. There's a religious exemption for many people. If you grow up with a Jehovah's Witness, those kids wouldn't even stand up during the Pledge of Allegiance, and good for them. Who cares? Right. I served in the United States Marine Corps for many years. I am a patriot. I love this country. I want this country to be the best that it can be. I don't say the Pledge of Allegiance, and not for religious reasons. It's because I feel weird, and I pledge allegiance to the flag, to a piece of cloth. I don't do that. So I guess I should have been assaulted too by this goon of a teacher putting their hands ostensibly on an honor student for not making a pledge of allegiance to a piece of cloth. Gross, wildly unconstitutional, and there should be firings and prosecutions as a result if found guilty by a jury of their peers.
Well, so far, there hasn't been any of that. There was a lawsuit, and that lawsuit has been settled by the school, but currently there has been no, announcement that they did anything wrong, no disciplinary action towards that teacher. I mean, this is according to the lawsuit. While Marissa was walking to class, the defendant, Nicole Livingston, was a special education teacher, violated her constitutional rights by yelling and demanding that Marissa stop walking and physically assaulting her by pushing her against the wall and forcefully touching her in an unwanted way without consent so that she would stop walking in recognition of the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence that was announced at the conclusion of the pledge. So if that's not bad enough, it actually gets a little bit worse. Livingston then took Marissa to the principal's office, where he, she got a stern talking to, apparently. Now, the principal, Jacob Smith, said, "Don't worry, we're going to review the footage and see what's going on, and then whatever. Here, have a snack and go back to class." All right. Oh, no, parents, we're not going to get the parents involved. By the way, while you're here, are you a patriot? Do you consider yourself a patriotic American?
Wow.
Because you better. Okay. But anyway, just go ahead and go back to class. No problem.
I'm struggling. I've read again. I know I'm banging out the Constitution constantly here. It is unusual. I can't find the compulsory patriotism article within the confines of Article 1, 2, or 3 of the Constitution of the United States. It's weird that it's not there. You would think if it was so important to our founders and our framers, they would have included that.
Well, do you have the Republican Constitution, which basically is only involves the Second Amendment in there, and then some fluff about how you must be completely patriotic to and swear fealty to Donald Trump and the Republican Party, or else you are a commie.
It's the same party, by the way, that violates U.S. code. Flag code is within. It's not a criminal code, but it's in the U.S. code. Yeah. You've got Pete Hegseth with this little American flag. It violates the flag code. You don't wear it as clothing or put it on napkins or anything that's disposable. There are very sacred ways in which you deal with the flag according to the U.S. code. And Republicans, they let Donald Trump slime up and sweat all over it and molest the flag constantly. It's all performative. It's masturbatory patriotism.
Yep.
It's fake patriotism on the part of Republicans day after motherfucking day. Gross.
It is, especially when some of those articles of clothing happen to be underwear.
Right. Also, just to get back to the more serious aspect of this, this is a child. This is a child who was walking while it was playing over the intercom. We don't even know if it was abjectly, overtly disrespectful. It doesn't matter if it was, but it's just a kid who's an honor roll student going to class. Lay off with your weird, cultish, slavish understanding of what patriotism is and isn't. You know, I mean, God,
right. Oh, but it gets worse.
Oh, okay. Man.
Remember, she's a black student. Okay.
Yeah.
And so she's thinking there's got to be a racial component because there were other people in the hallway walking.
And it's
to
also
their class that did
it's
not
also
stop.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 73% of the school, the students in that school are white students. And Marissa believes that she was singled out because she was a black student. Now, what's funny is in a press conference last week, she did say that, hey, there was a reason that I didn't stop to do the pledge, that I never do the pledge. I haven't done it since I was a kid. And that's because we do not have liberty and justice for all. Okay. And this is a great illustration of how that is true in this country. Yeah. We do not.
Way to prove the point, teacher.
Yep.
Way to cement the reason that this kid doesn't do the pledge because no one has liberty or freedom, or at least many people don't. I mean, listen, we're not all free unless all of us are free. Nobody's free unless all of us are free. It's another example of Republicans showing their ass and leaning into the narrative that is absolutely true. This teacher, most undeniably, is a Trump-supporting Republican, a member of a party who, again, is the largest, most effective white supremacy organization on planet Earth. Ugh.
Yeah. Now, she had also said during the press conference that her other black friends had experienced similar feelings of racism over the years, but none so overt as being physically assaulted in the hallway for not saying the pledge. And so
it's the crime of wokeness.
Yeah, it must be the wokes. That's it. But again, she has not admitted of doing anything wrong. Apparently she doesn't work at that school anymore. And the school itself has pretty much just shoved this under the rug, sweeping it under the rug. And, not even putting out any press releases about it or anything, saying that, yeah, we did something wrong, or we had someone here that did something wrong. And then the principal tried to kind of cover it up and ignore it. This is why we have this settlement, and we are now going to try to respect our black students, and any student who does not wish to do this, forced patriotism, as you had mentioned, which is kind of funny because isn't the pledge the same thing that was created by someone who considered themselves a socialist? Is that the?
Oh, I don't know the history of it. I know we added under God in 1952 or 54 because
the godless
communists.
Yep.
But listen, here's the issue that really drives home for me. And again, it's a basic elementary level civics lesson, is the problem with the First Amendment. Like when people are like, oh, it's my First Amendment right to say what I want to say at work, and you can't stop me and blah, blah, blah. It's about the government telling you what you can and can't say. The teacher employed by the school district is a government employee, a representative of the government of that particular municipality or the state, controlling the speech of a child, of an American citizen, it's patently, obviously, on a basic, fundamental level, unconstitutional. There should be a civil rights lawsuit brought against this teacher and the school and everybody else who questioned the patriotism or lack thereof, which is perfectly legal to not be patriotic. Anyway, you're way to send me away very angry and pissed off, Jeff. Great. Good job, brother.
I'm pretty good at that. I've been known amongst my friends for slaughtering people's unicorns. So
yeah, well, you've done a great job.
Well, that said, there's a small, minuscule amount of justice here that you might make you feel a little bit better. As I mentioned before, the teacher no longer works at that school, and the school district itself is now having to pay the family, the Barnwells, $75,000. So in restitution, about $47,000 will be set aside for Marissa when she turns 18. So that'll be a nice little piece of having her, pay some student loans, basically.
Well, assist her with not being crushed under the weight of student
loans.
Hopefully. Yeah.
That's assuming, of course, we're still going to have a Department of Education by that time. We'll see. The rest, of course, will go towards the legal fees. And so at least they won't have that to worry about. But again, it would have been nice to have some sort of apology from the district, some sort of acknowledgement that they did something wrong, that they had violated this child's civil rights. Okay. But instead of doing that, they ended up sweeping it under the rug. And that's why it's important to tell these stories and to, do these segments, because it's not just about getting mad. It is about saying that this is the way that they're going about violating civil rights in this country and doing forced patriotism. And I think getting that awareness of these things happening, especially to a member of a minority community, is helpful in trying to do something to prevent that from happening in the future and to prevent the school from having to pay out buku bucks for the actions of one of the teachers that was unacceptable.
Yeah, with school budgets being as tight as they are and beleaguered by budget cuts and everything else, especially in states like South Carolina, like North Carolina, like Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, this is not the time to start compulsory patriotism, because you're going to pay. And then you're going to be putting yourself in an even tighter spot. Good for this family and good for her.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.